Just when I thought we would end up hearing something about this game next month because it would make the most sense, the first week of November says pump the brakes because you gotta listen now. These rumors or leaks, whatever you want to call them, just hit out of nowhere. Roe decided to post a video late as hell at night, and these claims and whatnot did not reach the public whatsoever. If anything, they kinda started it up. Now, let me put out a fat ass disclaimer. These are not leaks whatsoever. These are unconfirmed rumors, there is no legit proof to any of this, and it's all a rumor as we speak. So please, take all of this with a big ass load of salt, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about involving this. So the source is a playtester that decided to share details of Resident Evil 9 to Biohazard Declassified, or also known as Andy. Is this the same source that messaged Andy about the RE1 remake details that happened to die out really fast? I don't believe it is one bit, but this to me feels really weird because even if this was fake, why would Residents of Evil of all people decide to post stuff like this? It feels weird, and I'm going to have to connect a lot of things and share my theories in all of this in order for it to make sense. So without further ado, let's get into it because there is a lot of things to talk about. So as we know, the source is Andy from BHD, and the playtester tested an early build of the game. It takes place 4 years after RE8, not the DLC. Not very surprising to me. I think that is something that we all genuinely expected. Leon, Jill, Chris, and Barry return. I like the first three, but Barry to me is very questionable. It's not because of his age, it's more so about what happened with Natalia. Did she psychologically beat Wesker, or is she in the game and has a very pivotal role? We shall see. Jill's tactical outfit will be just like Resident Evil 5's Lost in Nightmares DLC. I'm not surprised by this makes a lot of sense, and it's like that as well with Leon's outfit being very similar to Resident Evil Damnation, the CGI movie. Jill looks the same as she did in Death Island. I think this was going to be the move going forward. As much as I love Julia Voth and what she has done, I'm fine with the change. And it's not like Sasha Zatova is ugly or anything. And you kind of got the hint once she looked like that in Resident Evil Death Island. Leon is much older and has an unshaven face with longer hair. So from my lens, this feels like one of two things. The remake face model is aged up like crazy, or they're sticking with the face that has existed in RE6 and Death Island. Leon and Jill go to an island where the connections have supposedly made clones of Evelyn. This is all from Rose's mouth, by the way. Now it's just I'm adding my thoughts to it. Clones aren't new to the series at all. We saw it with Ada, and the island part of this kind of reminds me of the claims about Dusk Gollum, where he ended up saying something about Leon on an island in Singapore or something like that. So maybe something lines up there. Chris and Barry are support characters in Hunnigan-like roles. From just that thought alone, it gives me the thought that this is going to be a two-story single-player campaign. One you can play as Leon and one you can play as Jill, which I'm kind of glad because it's been a while since we have had something like that. Rose is mentioned in the game and is supposedly the cure to ending the Mutamycete, which is most likely her blood. This reminds me a lot of Jake in RE6 with the C virus, and it does make sense. Rose took Miranda's powers away. Rose had these since she was born, so maybe, just maybe, she has the antibodies for the Mutamycete, and it surprisingly, again, does make a lot of sense. And there is also another reason why Chris wanted to take her in, not necessarily just alone of Ethan's promise, even though that should definitely be enough to convince Chris to, take her in. Leon and Jill would be infected by the Mutamycete and would deal with hallucinations, and Evelyn will appear in them. I guess they're sticking with the feature of RE4. I'm gonna be real with y'all, I'm not the biggest fan of hallucinations in Resident Evil games. Evelyn being featured is cool and all, but if anything, I want this to be a very minor feature in the game. Not like a major emphasis, maybe see it once and be like, okay, cool. Blue Umbrella is the good guy in this game. I mean, it makes sense because we know they supplied Chris with the injector in the village raid. The island will contain caves, abandoned hospitals and houses, dark forests and villages, factory, temple, and more. This really reminds me of the open world claim that Dusk Golem has said. From what we have as of right now, this is sounding like a two-story campaign with open world elements on an island. Main enemy is evolved zombie very similar to Ganados. I'm not the biggest fan of this, but then again I did say I wanted the zombies to be the strongest they had ever been. I guess them being the Ganados or Lycans is very interesting, but also kind of repetitive. I get that Resident Evil is beyond zombies and all that, and is more than that, just my personal opinion. The enemies in the game will be singing to the moon, quote unquote, and have moon tattoos engraved on them. This reminds me so much of the Ganados, and I guess the moon will be the insignia or whatever, like the church maybe, and possibly at night the enemies get even more crazier. And this reminds me of the Wendigos and Skinwalkers leak from nearly 2 years ago, talking about a weird ninth moon phase or whatever, and all that, which is very intriguing. A stalker enemy will pursue Leon. I've said this in my wishlist or top 10 video, I don't want stalkers. I think it's a good mechanic or system that was really good in the beginning, but I think now it's being milked. 8 did it, and a lot of RE Engine games did it. I genuinely think every single one of those games had that, except for 4 Remake. A Go Man will pursue Jill. The Go Man thing is weird to me as well. I've heard this go around for a while, and this does line up with the Wendigo or Skinwalker thing because those enemies, not the Wendigo in particular, can shapeshift, and we saw that with Mother Miranda. The main villain is Mr. Simon, who has a dark past. From what I can come up with right now is this Mr. Simon guy is the one behind the connections. I really don't care about his dark past whatsoever until I know he's real, and I play the game to learn about him. I just hope he's not like Sadler. The Jill playtest happened in April or June, and the Leon playtest happened in September. I am thinking about making a part 2 about this because a lot of the things line up with what was delivered to me a few months ago involving the Jill playtest, and in that video I can explain a lot more, but at the same time I'm really hesitant because I don't fucking know if this is real or not. This could be someone's pipe dream or whatever, and this could have nothing to do with actual Resident Evil 9. I'm so confused by all of this. Again, it came out of nowhere, and so many sites are now, and Twitter accounts are reporting this info, and it's just so much to handle right now. Also, let me include some more of my thoughts if these are all true. Something would feel so off and weird. It involves Leon. I understand it's just a playtest and all that, but let me explain. In every single RE game possible that Leon has been in that is canon, Ada has been there with them. But if this is the first game Leon is in without her, is very dumb in my opinion, because from where you left off in RE6, it's better to wrap it up sooner rather than later with them. I just want answers involving that. Let's not forget too about the concept art for Ada in RE Village. Could this be saved for RE9 along with Leon because they scrapped her for a reason? She didn't necessarily fit Ethan's story and it would also feel weird without Leon in my opinion. I hope if all this is true, Ada is somewhere in this game, and I know you gooners watching this video will love Ada and Jill meeting for the first time. But other than that, there is not much else I can talk about. I feel off about all of this. Maybe it could be real because RE9 could be revealed next month at the Game Awards or even the rumored state of play before that. But as I mentioned, if you guys want the part 2 to drop, let me know in the comments below and make sure this video reaches 250 likes. It's a lot, but I need y'all to really gas this video up, and also if you want the second part most importantly. And another thing I gotta add, I feel really bad for you Claire Redfield fans. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like on this and hit the subscribe button for more content like this in the near future, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.